So last time I talked about the Prophecy Guardian a little bit. This is basically one of my new ships, and I initially thought to buy the Brutix, but eventually just figured out to try out the Prophecy. After all, I already have a lot of good skills for it, and I really do like how the Prophecies work. So I figured out that this ship might be the, well, not the best choice, but in my case could potentially be very interesting. Now I have this thing set up as a tank. It is a guardian after all, and as a guardian definitely will be focused on tank. The thing that I'm not really just sure yet is what build I'll use with this ship. Now this setup is with a damage control and with a single large armor repair. The overall build for this ship is fairly cheap. I didn't really want to go really expensive with it, since the ship kind of meant to be yeeted around, and if you do yeet around you can expect to get destroyed at one point. So this ship is built in mind to be destroyed, and eventually I believe that will happen. But I made sure that the build on this thing does look fairly good, and I managed to get some decent armor resistance out of it. Now the thing that I'm not really sure yet is whether I should improve the armor repair or repair speed on the Prophecy. The Prophecy does rely on the resistance to basically reduce damage, but I'm trying to figure out if I should focus more on the repair part. It should not be taking much damage, does have some good stats. 71, 62, 74 and 71%. This is basically in the station cold. Now let me undock and let me show you the stats with the modules active. It can use the thermal circulation implants, and of course it can also use the bombard tactic. I think in my case I'll just stick with the thermal circulation implant. 161,000 hit points, 87, 83, 88 and 87%, which honestly is not bad. It's pretty decent actually. Could have been more if I went with integrations, but of course I don't really want to go too crazy on the build. But it does seem fairly tanky and should be honestly fun to use. Doesn't have a lot of DPS, but honestly with this thing you don't really need a lot of DPS. 21,000 in armor, which is almost the same amount of armor that some of my battleships have, so yeah, that's kind of funny. Overall it does have very similar stats to a battleship, and without the thermal circulation implant, the overall tank is a little bit lower, but is still manageable. Now at the moment didn't really have much luck with the Prophecy. My initial goal with this ship, my initial targets with this ship are cheap battleships, cruisers and battle cruisers. That's basically the target for the Prophecy Guardian. It can also be used as a bait, so it can technically be used for a bait, but honestly I don't really think that anyone will bite a Guardian bait, so yeah, I have to check that out. And well, the Hurricane that was here is gone. Not really sure where they went. I'll just try to find them for a minute or two.
We're under attack.
But I'm very curious to see how the ship will perform once I do find a target with it. I think it will be very fun. I do prefer longer battles a lot more than short battles. Long battles are always fun. I really do enjoy long battles in this game. Long battles are where it's at.
Warp drive active.
not the 3-second Alice that I have with the Celos. Although I do have moments where the Celos is actually a much, well, better ship for this purpose, better ship for this job. But again, all depends. It all depends from situation to situation
Warp drive active.
in the end. Now we are warping to the next targets. We have one Astro. It is very interesting how many explorers I started to see. A lot of Astros are around. I should really start to camp these exploration sites. Could potentially be very profitable. Now the problem here is that this Astra was already in the site, and I have warped a little bit late. I did forget to scan the system for exploration sites when I logged in, so that was my mistake. Usually I can just park a ship here and wait, and there is a good chance that a Astra will appear at one point. But I should have engaged. I think I have missed my opportunity, or actually, yeah, I think I have missed my opportunity. Lately, I started to mess up quite often when it comes to stealthily tackling Astros and similar frigates. Not really sure why that's the case, but last time I messed up with the Daredevil, and now I think I messed up with the Astra. Should have decloaked when it was close to me. I'm also trying not to be decloaked by the boxes or the asteroids. This exploration that isn't really the most convenient one to run. Well, when I say convenient, it is convenient for the Astra. It is not convenient for me to sneak up to the Astra. That's a very big difference. That's a very big difference. And I think that was the last box. Oh well, I was way too slow. Should have tackled when it was 11 kilometers away from me. I had a good chance to catch it, since usually you do catch Astros with micro warp drives. Anyway, let's go to the next target. We have a Prophecy. Now, it is very rare for me to use the Celos with autocannons, but this Prophecy has some very nice drones, and I didn't want to risk anything, so I decided to go and
Warp
basically
drive active.
equip the Celos with the autocannons. It will have really crazy DPS, so it will probably kill the Prophecy in a short amount of time. Now they were also aligned, and I had to make sure that I landed close to them. Okay, scrambled. And now let's open fire. Battery mode is still not enabled. I'm trying to get good range. Almost. That was a very interesting approach there.
We're under attack.
Not really sure why the ship decided to go far, but okay. They used a mix of offense drones and navy drones, which honestly are quite pricey. I definitely want those.
Warning, capacitor running low.
And the Prophecy has been destroyed. Beautiful. Let's take a look at the wreck. Oh, they dropped. Excellent. They dropped. The drones have
We're
dropped.
under
That's some
attack.
very good loot drop right there. Beautiful. That's a fantastic
Warp
loot
drive
drop right there.
active.
Offense drones are quite expensive, and always nice when you do get them. If the Prophecy had the normal drones, I would have used the Prophecy Guardian for it.
Warp drive active.
But because the prophecy had some juicy drones, I decided that the best action would be to take a ship that can get the job done as quickly as possible. I know, kind of funny that I said I prefer longer battles, and then I pull out a 9000 DPS ship, but for these drones and for this kill, it was worth it.
Warning.
Of course, could have dropped all drones, but it didn't. And at this moment, I'll just take whatever the ship drops.
Running low.
Because last couple times I wasn't as lucky with the drops as I was now.
Undocking.
Alright, let's go to the next target. We have a Sunensis. Well, that's a weird ship to encounter. The Sunensis is in the Prophecy's mission, surprisingly. Well, maybe. I mean, I say maybe. The Sunensis is usually a very nice and a very tasty target. A 125 million ISK destroyer is always nice, so I'm not complaining at all. 27 kilometers, I'll just quickly approach. They are not aligning, they're not warping away. Okay, that's interesting.
We're under attack.
Webbed and scrambled. I use a Mark 5 fitted Thrasher, very inexpensive and cheap ship. And I've had, I think, 500 million ISK kill with this thing. So I say that this ship was 100% worth to get. It is a very fun to fly ship, so no complaints from me.
Warp drive active.
And let's take a look at the kill. 125 million. Well, just as I guessed, 125 million. Just what I guessed. Good. A good kill. Okay, well, I think, yeah, let's go to the next one. Now, this is something that happened a couple weeks ago, and I never really uploaded, but there were 4, 5 navies all of a sudden, and I was very confused at first. I didn't really know what was happening. I mean, it's not that common to actually see like 4 navies all of a sudden just popping in. At first I thought that this was a fleet. Well, obviously it is a fleet, but at first I thought that it was a PvP fleet that, you know, they came to camp the gate, but they did not aggro so far. And I do see a golden core, and well, while I'm sitting here debating what should I do, I eventually did figure out that all of these ships have been AFK autopiloting, and wish that I figured that out sooner. Would have 4 navy kills served. And when this is the moment when I realized that they have been completely AFK. I mean, usually when you see something like that, you expect to get jumped. Well, that was kind of a bad call on my end. I really thought that was a PvP fleet, but turns out it wasn't. And by the time we assembled here, it was kind of already too late in a way. But
Warp drive active.
they did return, and they actually returned for some reason. And you know what that means? This time we actually managed to catch one. And of course, the navy did wake up. Does seem like a PvE navy build. I would say maybe a doorman fleet. Not very sure myself. And of course, my internet does cut out. There we go. Okay, it's back now. Which means if one navy is now awake, it means that other navies are also awake. And that means they are coming back. Now, I'm not really worried myself too much. I'm fairly tanky, I have a reactive hardener, and I believe that I'm going to be quite difficult to kill, even if all of them do land. I can tank quite a bit of damage. I entered siege mode just so I can apply a bit more damage or do more damage on the navy. They are a shield tank. Well, they have no tank, and obviously that is the focused crystal extender in action. They used it, but didn't help much. The extender is already offline. The navy is in a low armor, soon to be in hull. They're still shooting at me. They did not do much damage to my shield. I'm at 91% shield. The reactive hardener is doing wonders. It is a very useful thing to have on your ship, and the navy is destroyed. Beautiful. That's one down. That's one down of 3 navies to go. If they do that they are come back, of course. Okay, next, first navy that lands will be the primary, which in this case is that one. Let's lock and let's open fire. Okay. Why are my cannons not responding to commands? There we go, took a while. Second navy returning, okay, and there's a third one lurking somewhere. There's a third navy lurking somewhere. Okay, first navy is losing shields. I'm entering siege mode. Our bubble is down. Let's see if they start shooting me next. And where's the third navy? I'm not really sure where the third one is. Oh, look, an Astra. Can an Astra open Sino? I don't know. Well, oh well. Bubble is gone and the navy swarped off. Well, okay, fair enough. That Astra is just sitting there. Let me quickly try to kill it. Why is that Astra just sitting there doing nothing? Kinda suspicious, not gonna lie. Well, there goes the Astra. I guess a kill is a kill after all. So one navy and one Astra down, and we lost one bubble. Well, I would say that's a good trade. I wish that I had more points. I wish that I had the Deathwish core to hold more navies, but unfortunately I don't have enough points. Only one the long range setup to just sitting there. But the ship is nowhere near enough to tackle. Well, this was an empty Astra. Okay, that's interesting. And what's the navy? Where is the navy? Let me take a look at the navy kill real quick. Should be a good one. 24 billion kill for 1.8 billion loss. That is positive. That's a good catch and a good kill. Beautiful. Nice. Well, it's positive. That's what matters in the end. It was worth it. So, that was fun. That was fun for sure. Never thought that that would happen, but it usually the unexpected things happen when you. Usually these things happen when you least expect them to happen. I honestly thought that was a fleet that came for us or came for me. I don't know. I mean that alliance they belong to is known for salt, so I expected salt. I think that was the alliance that like dropped 25 capitals on my revelation, failed to kill it. I think that it was that alliance. I have to double check. That's what I'm saying. A lot of salt, because it is. But all part of the game, and I honestly enjoyed it a lot. That was a Ferox command. I really need to start flying all of these different command battlecruisers. The command battlecruisers can be very interesting. I like the Cyclone command. The Ferox can also have some really ridiculous range and DPS, and it can be quite fast as well, so I really need to start flying these ships because they are really fun. And this did look like a PvP command. Ferox was very interesting. Well, technically a PvP build. Let's go to the next target. We have a raven that fell asleep on the gate and they logged out, and well, they got caught. They got caught, and it's I think the number would be. I really need to keep track of how many AFK, how many sleepy ships we've killed that logged out on the gate. Well then, let's open fire, webbed and scrambled, just in case. Barrage engaged, full speed with the Macari, well, full speed, weapons full speed. And this thing has some nasty DPS. I did return my old general units for the Macarial, and honestly, I forgot how much this thing slaps. It's a crazy ship when you think about it. The Macarial is so good. Cannons are really strong right now. Cannons are really strong. Cannons and missiles and drones, kind of the three best weapons. Well, best, not really the best, but implant wise, very scary weapons. Cannons because they're just really nasty by default. Drones because of the bomber tactic, and missiles because of the implants and because of the Raven Navy, which is a very good ship by itself. Let's take a look at the kill 1 billion, not bad. No, this looks like a PvP build. To me, that's interesting. A PvP Raven that logged out on the gate because they fell asleep. Usually, when a ship... how do I know that they logged out? Well, a force log, basically the name in local disappears first, and then the ship warps off, and then you have like 30 seconds to scan it down. And that usually happens when you put the game in the background, or when you lose battery while the game is active, or when your phone loses internet connection. It's usually what happens. That's how you can distinguish between a force log and a safe log. Safe log, if someone does a safe log, you can't scan them down because their ship disappears the moment the game shows that you disconnected. That's basically when your ship will disappear from the grid. And of course, it's much safer. I mean, it's called safe log for a reason. You cannot be scanned down if you do a safe log. That was a very expensive malware, 201 million. 201 million, and not a bad build. Could have been worse. Next we have one Apocalypse Striker. This does smell like an expensive one. Apocalypse battleships are usually quite pricey, and usually you know, usually expensive ships. So I do have high hopes that this drops some good stuff. I mean, it could drop, it may or may not drop in my case. I'm fine with both, I'm just here to have fun, basically. Siege enabled. Let's see how much damage I'll do. Well, not much. Well, not much difference, I guess. Because I am still... Oh, that was a... Okay, I take the words back. That was a big hit. You have to keep in mind that this ship that I'm flying at the moment is a brick. It's ridiculously tanky. So... obviously it's not going to have a lot of DPS, but for what it is, it does a very good job. Can't complain about the build. The tank saved the ship multiple times, so I honestly cannot complain at all. And the Apocalypse Striker has been destroyed. That was a good kill. 3.1 billion, decent loot drops for sure. Very nice loot drops. Always nice to get some C-type lasers. They are quite expensive on the market right now. And next we have a Raven. Let's keep approaching it and let's keep blasting. The Raven doesn't seem to be too tanky. Well, I'm doing a lot of damage to it. I really do like the tier 9 battleships because they are honestly very fun ships. They're cheap and they offer some really good performance for their price. I am building a cheap well, at this moment I think I finished it, but I do have a cheap Tempest that will kind of be used against other battleships, and that should be quite fun. And the Raven has been destroyed. Well, that was a sweet little run today. Honestly had fun, and I'm definitely looking forward to actually have the chance to check out the Prophecy Guardian in combat. Hopefully that will happen in the next video. It looks like a PvP Raven, a active tank PvP Raven. Very interesting. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and as always, I'll see you next time.